Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the photographer I'd like to be. So I'm Daniel Norton. I'm a photographer here in New York. I make videos like this about philosophy. I also make them about gear and technique. If that's the kind of thing that interests you, go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell and all that so you get the notifications, and yeah, let's do this. So I was thinking about this the other day because I was looking at some old stuff as I was moving around and looking at some of my work from my early days and the stuff I do now, and it made me really kind of think like, when we start off on our journey in life in general, I guess, but also in photography or in business or anything we don't want to do, in career, right? We generally, I think most of us anyways, have some kind of a goal, right? We would like to do this or that or whatever it is that you want to do. And sometimes those goals shift slightly. Sometimes we achieve more. Sometimes we achieve different. I don't want to say less. I won't ever say less. But I do think that as we move through a career path, that what we want does change, and sometimes it changes in an unconscious way, and being aware of that, I guess, maybe on some level, is very helpful. I think I thought I would talk a little bit about me because why not, right? But yeah, what I'm hoping is we'll get a conversation going in the below. We can talk about this a little bit. So when I first started doing photography, when I first got into it. I was very young. I knew from a very, very young age that I wanted to be a photographer. There was something just magical about the capturing of the images. I was very much into, I mentioned this before, my father worked for Polaroid, so my first cameras were Polaroid cameras, which were just amazing. It was like this idea that, and of course people who grew up around digital photography don't really understand this, but this idea that like you could make a photo and then like have it in your hand immediately. It compensated for the fact that the Polaroid itself wasn't necessarily as perfect, right, as using a proper camera. And especially the more consumer level Polaroids. There's some good Polaroids, but the consumer level ones. It just, that magic, especially as a kid, to be able to go out with your friends and like take a couple of snapshots and then like literally have them, be looking at them with no extra, I mean the Polaroid film itself was a little more expensive, but I got a good deal on it. You didn't have that added expense. Like, sometimes as when I was first starting out as a photographer, in like high school and stuff, like you'd shoot some film, especially during the summer when you didn't have the darkroom access, and like you would have to sit on it until you had money to pay to have the film processed. It was like an additional expense, more than the film cost. So you would, you'd shoot stuff and sometimes you wouldn't see it for a long time, which in and of itself is also another kind of cool thing. But anyways, that was my first experience with it, and I think that it really, it helped me, I think, kind of connect with people in a lot of ways that I wouldn't have otherwise. I was pretty much a quiet person. I probably still am, I guess. To myself a lot. I had close friends, of course, but like just generally, I wasn't really out there. And the photography made me more out there because it would draw people to you, And I think some people do use it that way. Seth sometimes uses the term negatively because I think what he's talking about is a different situation than mine. We all want to believe that. He calls it social lubricant, like a way to kind of get into a crowd. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that if a talent that you have or a hobby that you have allows you to connect with people, then that's fantastic. If you use it to manipulate people, that's different, and that's more what he's talking about. The taking advantage of people with your photography, which maybe that's a whole other video, right? We'll stick with positivity here. Basically, anyways, that's kind of how I started. And once I knew that I wanted to do photography for my career, for my life, I did have ideas, right? Like I would look at books and I would see people like Sally Mann, who was amazing, of course Abaddon, and I'd be like, wow. But the stuff that really inspired me, which was maybe a little weird for a lot of people that were doing more art photography, was I really was into commercial photography. I loved it. I loved looking at catalogs. I loved looking at the fashion stuff. Not so much, I mean, I clearly have a good fashion sense, but more that, I just was super interested in it, probably partially at least because of the good looking people. But I think that the idea that like you could make these photos and that everybody would see and make a living from it just was super exciting for me. So really early on, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I want to be in galleries, or I want everybody to see my work, or I want to do a book or shoot for National Geographic. I knew very early on that I wanted to do like fashion or commercial photography, which I think is interesting because when you talk to a lot of people, they didn't necessarily, like a lot of people that were successful in fashion and commercial photography didn't start that way. They were doing something else. So I think that's a kind of fascinating for me because I was a little different, I think. Anyways, that's what I wanted to do. I had this goal. I remember we were in high school, I think it might have been senior year, one of our classes, we like made a list of like if you could make a list for your life, like your goals. And I remember doing this and thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to get published in a fashion magazine, then I'm going to get a cover of a magazine, and I'm going to have a national advertisement. I want to be on billboards. Like these are the things that I wrote. And of course I wrote like finish school, get married, and all that stuff too. But that was like the career stuff that I wrote. And I did it. I was able to do it, and I did it. Once I did it young. I did it. In my 30s. By the time I reached my mid 30s, I had been in magazines. Was I on the cover of Vogue? No. But was I in national magazines? Yeah. And did I shoot some covers? Yeah. Did I do photography as a living? Did I shoot things that I wanted to shoot? Was I a published photographer doing on surface level the stuff that I dreamed of as a kid? And I had really done it, and it's interesting because I went through a period where I kind of almost stopped shooting because I thought like, well, I kind of did all the things, right, that I wanted to do, and I was successful on some level, but at the same time I felt like I was done. Like I was like, because there is a certain point where like when you're like 35 years old and you're shooting for, certain magazines or whatever, like mid-range magazines, you at that point you realize you're probably never going to shoot a cover of Vogue. Like fashion is a young man's game, and you need to get in with the right people at the right time. And I did not get those opportunities, so I knew it wasn't going to be for me. So that went off my list. I was like, well, cover, got it. I don't need cover of Vogue, right? Although Vogue, if you're watching and you want to hire me for the, but you know what I'm saying. So I was happy. I was super happy, but I realized that I was getting bored with what I was doing. I was doing a lot of commercial photography, which becomes basically just being a manager. High-end commercial photography. High-end not meaning like top of the line stuff, but like stuff where there's hundreds of thousands of dollars involved, where there's crew. You become more of a manager than a photographer. Everything is kind of set up ahead of time, like you're doing all your budgeting, you're bringing in staff, you've got a crew, and it's pretty awesome. It's awesome to have 3 assistants running around setting everything up, moving all your lights while you sit there with a coffee and point at them. But after doing that for several years, it just became, I wasn't gritty, like I wasn't down there doing the photography. So I kind of stopped doing it. I basically decided that I was going to pursue a different angle of photography, and I stopped looking for commercial clients. I still had some clients, obviously I needed to make money. And I started shooting musicians because I really enjoyed that. Music has always been something I really love doing. And it's kind of funny to think about it. I was shooting for like, peanuts for like these little like online publications and local magazines, these musicians, because I wanted to do it. It wasn't about the money for me. And luckily I was in a position because, I had a successful commercial career that I could just do that. And it was pretty cool. And I think that some of the people that are watching this, or people that I've talked to for sure, are in a similar situation because they're either, maybe some of you are older. I've talked to people who have been older, maybe they're retired. Some people have had money in like they have good jobs that make them a lot of money and they can take time to do things. And that's a really good place to be because then you can do the photography that you want to do. And I think that that's what it comes down to, right? We should do the things that we want to do because then we're going to do them the best. We're going to be the happiest if we're doing that photography. If we do photography for the money, I think that most of us will not be as happy as we could be. I think that in the end, when you're chasing money for anything, it becomes less pleasurable. It becomes about that money, and then you have to make a lot of compromises because you got to do the thing that you got to do to make the money. So I remember actually when I very first started assisting, I'd quit like a good job, and I moved to Miami. I think I've told the story before. And one of the very first photographers I ever worked for, Deborah Gray Mitchell. Hey, Deborah. I was telling her my story. I was like, oh, I had this job and I was doing really well, but now I want to do photography. And she was like, you should call them back and make sure that you can just get that job again. She was adjusting, I think, but she was just like, if you're doing this for money, you're not going to make, you probably will never make as much money as you made in that job because it was a pretty good job I had. And I was like, well, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I want to be a photographer. And clearly, here I am. But anyways, we'll get back to the original topic of the video here, is that that's not me anymore, right? Like I didn't want to do that commercial stuff when I was 18, 19, and then going up through my 20s and when I was doing it. That doesn't do it for me anymore. Like it's not what I want to do. I found that what I really like to do now is I love to make portraits and connect with people and capture on one-on-one in smaller scenes. Like it's not enjoyable to me anymore to have, hair, makeup, stylist, two assistants there. I like working with a small crew, maybe one stylist and the model, or maybe one assistant and the model, and doing very, very simple things. Not building elaborate sets, not having massive crew, not over planning stuff, or I should say over because it seems negative, but not doing lots of planning. Really kind of keeping the stuff tight and true to. And what's funny is when I think back of it, and this is why this has come a full circle, when I look back at those original shots that I did when I was young, and I had my Polaroid camera, and I would go out with friends or go to people that weren't friends, but they were like my classmates, we'll call them, and connect with them. Take somebody from my class who I never really talked to that I knew right for years, and then spend an hour with them making photos and connecting on a way that we never did when we were just in class together or whatever, because whatever, not everybody is best friends, right? And it's funny that I've kind of come full circle. Like the photography that brought me into it, the stuff where it's really just super simple, just me connecting, very small, very simple, not looking for perfection per se, is the type of photographer that I want to be again. I don't want to be the big commercial photographer with lots of stuff going on. I mean, I can do that, and I will do it. When people call me for bigger jobs, I will clearly do them because of money. But that's not the photographer, right? The photographer I want to be is the one that can bring out people's true self. When somebody looks at a picture of them and they say, "Wow, that's one of the best pictures," ideally the best picture, but that's one of the best pictures I've ever had taken of me, or, "Well, I never saw myself like that," or, "Oh, I usually hate myself in pictures, but this is, I like this," or, "Oh, I never show anybody, my scar or my tattoo or my, whatever, but I thought I would do it for this photo, and now I'm happy that I did because I see the beauty in it." And that to me is what makes it worthwhile for me. That's what I like, and that's the photographer that I want to be. So I'm curious what the photographer you want to be is. That's after I just talked for a long time. What do you guys want to do? Like, what is your goal? Why are you here? Is there something specific that you're shooting for? Is there something business-wise that you're going for? Is there something, social-wise you're going for? Is there something artistic-wise? Let me know. Let's talk about it, because I'm very, very curious what people are wanting to do, because that will also help me make these videos, because I can talk about different aspects of it depending on what people really want to see. So let me know. In any case, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell so you get the notifications and follow me and stuff like that. And I will see you next time.